श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषयभवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं गपद्गजम्बुफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजं। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं श्रीवरदं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्ते पौत्रं कल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्म वसिष्ठाय नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. So we concluded Virata Parva last time. So Pandavas completed their 13th year in uh, unrecognized state. They completed that, and after that, after the Virata war, defeating the Kurus, Arjuna defeating them, they came out, and then Abhimanyu's wedding concluded with Virata's daughter Uttara. So we start the next Parva called Udyoga Parva today. Udyoga Parva is the preparation for Mahabharata war. There's a lot happens here, not just armies coming together. There are a lot of interesting stories and the events that take place. So we'll start with that today. So Pandavas, after completing Abhimanyu's wedding, they rested themselves and then they all came to Virata's assembly court. In that court, all the kings, everybody assembled there. At top, Virata with Drupada, they were sitting together, two of them at the front and supported by them on the side. You had Balarama and Krishna. Then you had Yudhishthira was sitting next to Krishna, and then you had Drupada's children, that's Drishtadyumna, Shikandini, they were there, and then Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, Pradyumna, Shambha, Abhimanyu, and then Virata's children. They were all sitting there, and also Draupadi's sons, and also Abhimanyu. So all of them were sitting there in that assembly, while all of them were sitting and talking to each other, and they all started looking at Krishna to start the discussions, to say something so that they can all discuss and what Krishna thinks. They all wanted to hear what Krishna thinks, what should be done next. So then Krishna starts speaking. He says that you all know what happened to Yudhishthira, how decidedly he was defeated by Shakuni, and he was robbed of kingdom and things like that. And they spent 13 years in the forest, and especially that last 13th year was very difficult for them to spend in an unrecognized by anybody. They spent that suffering all type of hardship. And that 13th year, they have done all the service and everything else. Like servants, they lived their life. And Yudhishthira, even this is like this, Yudhishthira still does not want to harm Duryodhana. So we should look at King Yudhishthira is very virtuous, and he would not want the kingdom which is not his, but also he will not give up something that is his. So they were robbed of this kingdom they are having in Indraprastha. So this Dhritarashtra's children, they cannot even defeat Arjuna alone, let alone the entire Pandavas together. So, but still they think that they can hang on to that kingdom and they're not ready to give their kingdom. And also he says that there are a lot of people who know are enemies of Pandavas have come together to destroy Yudhishthira, and Pandavas come together with the Duryodhana, and similarly there will be people coming towards us. And he says that Pandavas always respect truth, and they always promised they completed the promise of 13 years, and to the very letter, everything they said they have done it. And now you tell me what should be done, and what Duryodhana thinks what he's going to do next is not exactly known to us. So we don't know what he's thinking. So that's why Krishna says that it is good if a virtuous person, a honest person is respectable, who has a respectable birth, that person goes as an ambassador and asks that kingdom mildly from Yudhishthira, saying from Duryodhana on behalf of Yudhishthira, saying that we have completed this 13 years. Now let's return to where we were. So let's say that. So when Krishna says that, everybody agrees to what he says, and then Balarama starts speaking, and he says that I agree with whatever Krishna says, and I see Duryodhana and Yudhishthira both equal to me, and I don't see any differences between them. I'm equal to them. And he says that I also something that Krishna says, I am slightly going to disagree here. And he says that there should be, but Krishna, like Krishna said, we should send somebody, an ambassador to Dhritarashtra's court, but that person should be very humble, and he should not go and demand the kingdom and things like that. He should first worship Bhishma, Drona's son, Vidura, Krupacharya, everybody, and then Karna, all the Duryodhana with his brothers and everybody, and then paying all the respect to everybody. He should be with humility. He should serve the interest of Yudhishthira, and he should not be provoked. He should not get angry and all those things. And then Balarama says that Yudhishthira, even though he was not good in playing dice games, he still went and played that dice game. And because of that, he lost everything. And it is his fault. Even though he was losing the match, he continued to play that and he lost that. That's why he was that. So it is not, we cannot put entire blame on Duryodhana himself or Shakuni himself. It is Yudhishthira's fault as well, Yudhishthira's problem, because he lost it rather than Duryodhana won it. So Duryodhana was playing the game, but Yudhishthira should have stopped it. So he says that somebody who is with humility and things like that, that person should go there, and we cannot win anything by war. So that's why we should look for peaceful processes where we can settle this disagreement between the brothers. Listening to this, Satyaki becomes very angry. He says that even somebody with a heart like that can only speak the words what you have just said. What you are saying just tells what you think in your heart, and that's how your heart is like that. You don't think properly. So Satyaki immediately rebukes here Balarama, and he says that those who are brave men and there are cowards, and there are men of two different classes. Satyaki again says that he is brave. He's kind of saying he's brave, but Balarama is not brave and is a coward. He also puts Balarama right here, saying that how can you blame Yudhishthira for whatever that happened? A person who is clever in a game of dance, that's in the case of Shakuni, challenged Yudhishthira, who is unskilled, and he was defeated. And that's not virtuous gameplay, right? So we hear all along that Shakuni defeated decidefully and things like that in Mahabharata. The deceit or the fraud that Shakuni committed in that, or Duryodhana committed, is Yudhishthira was not skilled in that game. So when you are playing and challenging somebody in a game, you should play with the equal person, right? So that's what the fraud or deceit is. So Satyaki calls out that, and Yudhishthira being a Kshatriya, when somebody challenges him, he has to accept that challenge and he has to play for it. And he has to play, and that's how it's won. And you are suggesting that Yudhishthira go and beg his kingdom with my strength alone. I alone, Yudhana, Satyaki's another name is Yudhana. He says, I alone can go and defeat everybody. then there is Arjuna, who can face up to Arjuna, who has all the weapons in himself. And just for your background, Satyaki is Arjuna's Shishya. So Satyaki learned everything from Arjuna. Okay, so he is very similar to Arjuna. He knows all the weapons and everything. And then he says, who can withstand Bhima and Drishtadyumna and Draupadi's son Abhimanyu and everybody? So all these people are there. So you are asking us to go as a beggars and ask from Duryodhana the kingdom. He says that that's not the right way. We should go and attack them and then win the kingdom back from them and kill everybody. If Duryodhana does not give the kingdom, we should do. And Drupada says that whatever Satyaki said is right, and I agree with that. But also Balarama also has pointed out something that we should look for peace first. And he says that in respect of donkeys, mildness should be followed, but in the bulls and other things, we should look for severity. So we should look for punishing those things to bring them to where we want. So he says that Duryodhana is like a bull. We should punish him. That's the only way to bring him. But before we do that, we should make sure that we explore the peaceful process. But also he suggests that we should send out a message to all the kings all over Bharata saying that we need their support and we are looking for their support. Send a message to Shalya, Drishtaketu, Jayasena, and he lists all the names: Bhagadatta, Hardika, Auka, Mallas, Rochamana, Brihanta, and Senavindu, Chedis, all the kings, everybody, he says, lists all of them, and he says that we should send a messenger to them, and we should inform them that we may end up in a war, and we need the support. We want them to support. But also he says that as part of the peace process, let my priest, this learned Brahmana, go to Dhritarashtra and tell him the words that is what should be told, and how Bhishma, he knows how Bhishma should be addressed or Drona should be addressed because he is a Brahmana. So let him go there. So Drupada suggests that, and Krishna then agrees with that. He says that whatever that Drupada has said is right. As we are looking for a political solution here, that means the peaceful agreement. So let's do that as a first duty. And if we don't act that's not the right way, so let's do that. And then Krishna says that all of us, all the kings have assembled here, have come here for Abhimanyu's wedding. So that wedding is over. Let's all of us go back and see what happens with the peace process. And if needed, we'll reassemble again. So Krishna is kind of saying, everybody go back to your home indirectly. So with that, if Kurus Duryodhana makes a peace on equal terms, that means giving half the kingdom to Yudhishthira, then there is nothing to worry about. No injuries to anybody. Everything goes away. If not, then we have to come back again. So listen to that. Krishna prepares to leave to Dwaraka, and he goes after receiving respect from Virata and others. He leaves, and similarly, all the kings who came there, they went back. Meanwhile, Virata and Drupada, they start preparing for the this peace process and also sending the messenger to all the kingdoms. So Drupada tells his Brahmana, his priest, that among all the peoples, among all the things that that's there in the world, those who have the life is superior, and among all those who have life, those who have intelligence is superior. Those who have intelligence, among those creatures, men are superior. Among the men, Brahmanas are superior. And among those Brahmanas, those who are students of Veda, that means those who learn Vedas, are superior. Among them, the one who controls himself, who is well cultured, well conducted, that person is superior. Among those, the person who is very practical persons, they are very superior. And says as among those practical persons who knows all the Vedas and everything else, and that Brahmanas, he is the one who knows the Paramatma is the superior one. And to me, you look like one of those Brahmanas. You are equal to Shukracharya and Brahaspati in knowledge, intelligence. So you go there and you present it on behalf of Yudhishthira in such a way that the message is right, and Dhritarashtra's son agreed to this process, agrees to give the kingdom what actually belongs to Yudhishthira. And if you speak in rightful ways, Dhritarashtra's son will certainly will not harm you anything. So he again assures, Drupada assures this Brahmana that Duryodhana is not going to harm him because you are a Brahmana and they're not going to do any harm to you. And while and also Drupada's cunning plan here, he says that while you are going on this peace process and discussing with them and them debating whether what to respond and things like that, they will not be preparing for the war. So that means it gives us some more time to prepare for war while they are not preparing. So Drupada's plan is send this messenger and then we will continue to prepare for the war. So he instructs that Brahmana and Brahmana heads towards Hastinapura. And while he was dispatched to Hastinapura, Krishna, Balarama, they go back to Dwaraka. And while they were in Dwaraka, one day Arjuna decides to go to Dwaraka and see Krishna. And as he was going on the same day, Duryodhana also reaches Dwaraka in his preparation for the war. He goes there and both of them go to see Krishna, and Krishna was sleeping at that time. Duryodhana enters the room and he sees Krishna sleeping. He goes and sits on a chair seat at the head of Krishna's bed, on top of near Krishna's head. There is a chair seat, and he goes and sits there. Arjuna comes. He stands in front of Krishna near his feet, bowing down with his head down. He stands there, and little while later, Krishna wakes up and he sees Arjuna first, and he asks him why you have come and all the details. And then he looks at Duryodhana and asks him welfare and everything else. And after all that, Duryodhana addresses Krishna, says that there is a war that's coming, and Arjuna, myself, both are equally friends of yours, and relation wise also we are equal. So I have come here to ask for your help, and I have come here first, and that's why I should ask first. So I have come here before Arjuna, so you should give me the first chance to give your support, and after that you can speak to Arjuna. So, but Krishna says that I know you have come here first. I don't doubt that, but Arjuna I looked at Arjuna before you, and I spoke to Arjuna. Then only after that only I saw you, and then he says that also Arjuna is younger than you, and he's your brother, younger brother. Normally, those who are younger get the first choice. Okay, so at home as well, younger ones get the first choice, and then the elder one picks to choose whatever that's left. So Krishna says that younger ones always get the first choice. So Arjuna is entitled to ask first. So here is my option. So because both of you have come, I'm going to say on one side, one option is you will have 10 crores, that is 100 millions of people, Nara and my soldiers, my army, everybody, Yadavas, Vrishnis, everybody will be there. They are called Narayanas, Narayani Sena, and they will be there on one side. On the other side, I alone will be there. I will come. The other option, second option is I alone can come and support, but I will not fight in that war. So he says that I will not fight. I will just come and I will be alone there. So which one you want to pick? And Arjuna selects Krishna in this instance, and Duryodhana gets the army, Krishna's army, all the army, Yadava's army, and then Duryodhana becomes very pleased, and with that, after that, he goes to see he goes to see Balarama, and he goes there and he asks Balarama's help in the war, but Balarama says that I treat both of you similarly. No difference I see between Pandavas and Kauravas. It is unfortunate, brothers, you are thinking about fighting each other out. And so I normally don't separate myself from Krishna. Whatever Krishna does, I will do that. But this time, I'm not going to go with one of you. So I will not fight either for you or for Kunti's sons, Pandavas. I will not fight. So Balarama says that. Duryodhana after that, so be it. And he goes back to very happily. He goes back to Hastinapura. And once he went back, so again, he while going back, he goes and meets Kritavarma, and Kritavarma promises one Akshayani of Sena to Duryodhana and his support. So he, after gathering that, he goes back to Hastinapura. Then at that time, Krishna asks Arjuna why he has selected, when you had so much army, why you have selected me. Then Arjuna says that I have selected you because uh, I have all the weapons and everything. Okay, I alone capable of defeating everything, defeating everyone. But and there is only one person that's equal or more than stronger than me is you, and I need you, and I need you to be my charioteer. When I'm in that battle, I need you to drive my chariot. And he requests that from Krishna, and Krishna agrees to that, saying that I will be your charioteer. And with very happily, uh, then Arjuna goes around to worships Krishna, and then goes to Balarama, and then he comes back to Yudhishthira. So while that happens, the messengers have reached out to all the kingdoms, and the message goes to Shalya. Shalya is again Madri's brother. So he goes there, he receives that message, and he comes with one Akshayani, an Akshayani of strong army, who come to the battle prepared to support Pandavas, because Shalya is uncle, right? So Madri's brother, so that means Nakula Sahadeva's uncle. So he prepares to come to support Pandavas, and on his way from his kingdom to where Pandavas are staying in Upalavya, he comes all along the way. He comes across resting places, and where they were decorated, very well decorated, where his army and himself and all the people can rest, and they had a lot of drinks and everything that they needed there. And Shalya becomes very happy, and he says that he asks those servants, where is Yudhishthira? Where is all these people who prepared all this for me? These Yudhishthira servants who prepared all this for me. So bring them to me. And those servants go back and tell Duryodhana, who arranged all this, that Shalya is asking like this. Duryodhana was in hiding and looking after all this, making all these arrangements. And finally, after long trip, Duryodhana comes in front of Shalya and says that this is I who arranged all this. And then Shalya says that because you did help me in this journey, ask me something, I will do for you. And then Duryodhana says that I want you to become the leader of my army. So that means, so he asks Shalya to fight for his army rather than against his army, because Shalya was so strong, he wanted him to be his army. So Shalya, with no option, because he has already promised Duryodhana to give something, so he agrees to that, and he says that you go back to Hastinapura, I will go and visit Yudhishthira, and then I will come back. And with that, he goes to Duryodhana, says that don't forget what you have promised. You have granted me this, that you will come and fight along with us. So don't forget that. Come back immediately. Quickly come back to Hastinapura and join everybody else. And Shalya says that, so wait, I will do it. You go back to your city. I will come. And then with that, Duryodhana departs, and cunningly Duryodhana gets Shalya's army and Akshayani of army. And once he gets that, Shalya then goes to Uplavya, and there he goes and sees Pandavas in that place. So he accepts the usual respect that when someone comes, the Madhuparka and everything else, Pandavas wash his feet and give the respect. And then once all of them are seated and everything else, at that time, Shalya says that asks Yudhishthira, is everything okay with you? How you have spent your time in the forest? What you have done? And it must be very difficult. And he asks all those things, and how Draupadi spent her time in there. And then he says that the task which you have performed is very difficult to perform, but you have been successful in this. And uh, so he again says that uh, in compensation, what the Duryodhana has done, you will always definitely will get your happiness. The misery that Duryodhana has caused, from that you will now definitely will get your happiness back, and all your enemies will be killed. So Shalya here effectively saying, because now he has promised Duryodhana that he will be part of Duryodhana's team, he is still saying that Duryodhana and his army, everybody will be killed by Pandava. So he is telling Yudhishthira that I will die by your own hand and I will be defeated by you. So he says that I will, this is what happens. And then he says that uh, so you again continue to live this virtuous life and you will be that. And then he says that Yudhishthira is very steady in his path of liberality and self control, truth, and he is again very merciful. He is truthful and he has universal sympathy. And he praises Yudhishthira with various means, saying that everything that's in the wonderful in this world is found in you. And he says that you are more very mild, uh, you are like a Muni, and you are very religious, you are liberal, and he says you regard virtue as the highest good. So he says that that virtuous person you are, you will get everything, and you know the fact, uh, everything that's happening in the world, you know that, and you are very virtuous. So it is very lucky that I see you today, and such a virtuous person seeing you. I'm very happy to see you today. And Shalya and like that they are discussing, and then Shalya then says that details everything that happened with Duryodhana on his way to coming to Upavlivya, whatever that happened. He says that I was coming on way. There were camps everywhere, resting camps, and my army enjoyed that a lot. And we had very good journeys and peaceful, happy, pleasant journey on our way here. And finally, I came to know that it was arranged by Duryodhana. He decidedly made me be part of take his service, and so I had to promise him that I will be fighting on his behalf. And with this, Yudhishthira becomes very disappointed. But then uh, he says that you are doing this because you have promised, and you are keeping your promise truthful, and that's good for you. But when you are fighting for Duryodhana's army, I request one thing. So Yudhishthira, probably you probably will see there is always a famous incident in Mahabharata where Yudhishthira lied and things like that. Okay, so that comes in when the war starts and things. But if you look at whether Yudhishthira thought something cunningly or something like that, this is the one instance probably comes to one instance probably we can call out. Okay, only one probably. Apart from what the one that famously everyone discusses in the war situation, right? So here he asks Shalya a favor, saying that when you are in Duryodhana's army, can you make sure that you always think about welfare of my victory, right? So he says that you are equal to Krishna in battle, and there will be a battle between Karna and Arjuna. On one side, Arjuna's charioteer will be Krishna. Krishna will be charioteer for Arjuna, and he will be driving the chariot everywhere. On the other side, Karna will request you to become his charioteer. So Yudhishthira knew what's going to happen in future. So he says that Karna will definitely will ask you to become his charioteer. When you become charioteer, you must protect Arjuna. So he asks that favor from Shalya, saying that even though you're fighting on behalf of Duryodhana, when you become the Karna's charioteer, you must protect Arjuna, and you should dispirit him. You should tell him that Arjuna is so strong, you can't defeat Arjuna. Arjuna knows that, Arjuna this, Arjuna that. Praise Arjuna, but also say that tell Karna that when your charioteer sitting in front of that chariot, keep telling Karna that you can't defeat Arjuna, you can't break his bow, you can't break his string, you can't do that harm or whatever it is, but keep praising Arjuna. So make sure that Karna's head, he always thinking that Arjuna is strong. So that's make sure that that's in his head so that he is dispirited. And Yudhishthira acknowledges here that it is improper. It is improper. I know I'm asking something improper, but you must do it. You must do it for me. And Shalya agrees with that. He says that I will tell you, I will do just as you ask. And he says that Karna is definitely should be dead, should die, because in that assembly, well, Shalya also acknowledges that I am equal to Krishna in battle, and as a charioteer, I'm equal to him, and Karna will definitely ask my help in that situation. But with that Karna is shamed Draupadi in that assembly with harsh words, rude words, and things like that. So definitely because of that, he will have to be punished. And because of him, whatever that he has done, Draupadi has to suffer a lot from Jatasura, Kichaka, and various others. But just like previously, Damayanti had to go through all the troubles, Draupadi had to suffer. And this all started when Karna uttered those inhuman words, rude words. So he says that, but you should not worry about all this. Don't worry about any of this, because destiny is powerful in this world. Whatever that destined to happen will happen, and you will definitely get your kingdom back. So the high-minded people, those who are having the wisdom, those who are knowledgeable, they always endure miseries. They suffer those miseries of various kinds, and but they will get to the higher end in the end. And he says that even devatas suffer misfortunes, not just humans. So it is told that previously that even Indra, devatas, lord of devatas, celestials, he himself had to go through misery in huge time. So he had to go through a lot of misery. Okay, he says that that's what happened. So at this time, Yudhishthira asks, what is that misery, that misfortune that Indra had to go through? And that's a big story. We probably will start that next time. Any questions for today?